This thing is loaded down. Believe it or not, in an Under Armour 1800 cubic inch pack, you get 2 buckets of Lucky Buck in there. And also 2 bags of Persimmon Crush, which to me is pretty awesome. This pack has done a lot for me, so hopefully it continues to do the same thing. Let's head up the last little bit here though. Let's get on up the hill. So today we're gonna put out another camera. Excuse me if I'm not looking at you guys too much here, but copperheads have been bad this year. And so have timber rattlers here in West Virginia, so if I'm not looking up all the time, excuse me, you can't really lose too much focus when you're out here or something could go south. So, putting one cam out, checking another cam and getting a new card in it for the year. Getting some minerals out. And hopefully, some good bucks, some good bears. It's a good time. But guys are reporting a lot of snake sightings this year. Nothing super aggressive, no striking at anybody or anything like that, but still something you try to keep in mind when you're out here. It's easy to get hurt doing this stuff, especially when you're on your own like me. So it's always nice to have a camera guy, but welcome to the world of filming your hunts. Gonna do a lot of self-filming, so it's part of it. You like the grind? Hoping this camera is full up here, and I'll check with you guys here again once we get up here. But like I said, this is on one mountainside, and this behind me right here completely drops off. So luckily there's a couple logging roads that have been cut through, like the one I'm on right now, that make it a little more accessible as far as walking, and there's not so much undergrowth covering where you're walking, so it's a little easier to see, you know, if there is a snake. It's a still eerie feeling, but I mean it makes it a little bit easier anyway, so clears things up and gives you a little more confidence when you're walking here. I advise everybody to get some snake boots, or snake boots are a tough investment really. I mean that's a hot boot to keep on all the time. I'm probably gonna run the gaiters more than anything. Snake chaps kinda just something to cover my shins in case you do get one of those aggressive timber rattlers or copperheads, but you probably have to step on them right now to get them too ticked off. Most of the ones here have been pretty passive, so we'll see. I'll get with you guys as soon as we get up here on the hill and give you an idea what's going on. Up here, just check this camera. This is a Browning. It's done really well for me. It's going on 2 years I've had that camera, and it's never been back at the house. It's completely been out here in the woods. Never brought it in. I've run it during the winter as well, just to see what kind of bucks and bears I'm pulling in through the off season even. I want to show you guys just here a minute of why you need to run minerals year round, okay? People think hammer it with corn, that kind of thing, hunt over the bait pile. I'm not about that. I like using travel routes, pinch points, and trail cams to help me determine where I'm going to be at. And I run some minerals just to keep, you know, my deer herd healthy and keep some stuff around, just to more monitor the area than anything. And I'm telling you what, I'll show you guys here in a second of what happens when you guys use Lucky Buck or Rat Getter or any mineral company. Really, you can't really go wrong with a mineral. I mean, there's better ones than others out there, but you really can't go wrong with getting your herd some sort of mineral. That really helps them through those really stressful winter months, and helps them, you know, get to where all that green grow up, that protein that they can get from eating comes back. They're kind of lost and really stressed during that winter time, January, February, going into March, you know. So anything you can give them to make it through that tough time, it only helps them. So, but here's one mineral site, okay? One mineral site. I'll show you guys here. Check this out right here, okay? This is destroyed. Right here. And that's all we've got is tracks in mud all the way down through there, okay? And not only is this site tore up, but I'll take you guys down here for a second. Bugs are awful right now too, by the way. I've got a Thermacell on my hip and they're still wearing me out. but I used to have this camera over here on this stump. The problem I had is the hole they dug out decided to become a bee's nest. So I've left this alone. I haven't hardly ran anything on it, okay? I ran some Lucky Buck earlier, some rat getter, some polymer balls, that kind of thing. That's about it. And pretty much abandoned it and went to the other site that we were just at over here, just to get away from the bee's nest, leave them alone, let them do their thing. One of the bears dug out the nest too, so there's some honeycomb stuff around, but this is really cool. So another mineral site for you. I'll show you here. Try not to get stung. Deer tracks all over. Wore that out going down through there. I believe those bees are still using that. Not 100% sure, but still, really good mineral spot. And guys, that's just stuff that I'm running, during the winter months. That's not even really hammering it with feed or anything like that. Feed has its purpose. I think minerals are a little more important. Here in the mountains, there's a lot of forage for them, but it's a little tougher when you get up here at high altitude. There's not as much for them. You still get oaks that come into here and acorns for the, for the herd and stuff, but a lot of briar they can snack on during the winter. But minerals are key for me, and that's pretty much what I run. But really excited to check this camera and see what's going on here, because this is promising. Had a great buck here earlier in the year, and after early season kind of came in after that first week or so of bow season, he disappeared on me. I don't know if it's other hunting pressure or what it is, but he changed his pattern and I had a hard time finding him again, and I'm hoping this year he's more regular, he's more comfortable in this spot. I leave this alone. I don't come in here really intrusive. About every 3 or 4 weeks I'll drop in just to check on things, and I think that's going to be key, is just keeping pressure to a minimum and seeing what happens here. I'm hoping this camera check's going to go well, so figured I'd give you guys an update here. So this is awesome. Lucky Buck. I'm gonna wear this spot out. I've already put a brick down of another mineral just to keep it once this stuff's gone. But just gonna spread this stuff out, cover this pit up. And save about half for the next spot. Okay, so second site is set up. If you can't tell by looking behind me right there, that is a grown-up logging road. So these deer like to run this ridge line, and I'm thinking I'm getting skirted a little bit because there's a couple of trails that break off around the mountain before me. So what I'm doing is I've gone out this ridge line about another quarter mile or so, just walking it, and found a good clearing right here. Like you see, just kind of open vegetation. You don't have a whole lot getting in your way of your camera and knocking leaves around when the wind blows, taking pictures you don't need. So what I've done is I'm trying to get an angle of this road right here, kind of diagonal looking down it, not so much straight across it, okay? Because a lot of times you'll get deer that'll run past and you'll miss them, just catch the rear end of them and that kind of stuff, and that's not what you want. So what I've done here is, I'll show you guys, right here's my mineral site. Sucker's loaded up, right? Something around's probably gonna check it out, okay? So if you can't tell, right here's a camera and it's looking diagonal across this trail right here. So camera right here, okay? Looking diagonal across up this trail a little bit, right to that mineral site. So that's just a little tip for you guys. If you are setting up cameras, don't get so caught on, well, if I just put it here, they're gonna be right here, they'll stay here anyway. A lot of times you'll catch deer that won't even come into a mineral site. They'll be kind of hanging out with the bachelor group. They'll be off in the back. A lot of times bigger bucks, mature bucks anyway, when they're in those bachelor groups, they're not the first buck to come in, okay? The younger bucks, they'll come in, just tear it up, do their thing. They're young, they don't know any better yet. the bigger bucks will hang back, and a lot of times you'll catch them in the back of your pictures, just, you know, velvet or just barely in the picture. They're there letting them do their thing, but he just kind of doesn't like the setup, okay? So that bigger angle here, you might catch that buck. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. I've scraped out all the leaves and stuff like that, picked an old, you know, blown down tree or stump, that kind of thing, something to hold some mineral in it when water gets down here. So next time it rains, this soil will soak that up, and so will this dead tree right here. So that's just kind of a rundown of what I'm doing. Last camera set up here, so we're gonna head back to the truck, and no snake sightings yet, thankfully. So we're gonna watch where we're walking. And I've had a stick with me the whole time, except for, of course, right now. But just kind of touching my way around, hoping if there is one that he'll let me know he's there before I get up to him. So just being real cautious. And seen a lot of deer sign. I showed you guys those 2 mineral sites already. Those were really tore up from the winter. And then also there's a lot of bear scat over there. And also a lot of deer droppings. So I think it's only going to be good. The pictures that I've already pre-checked out off that camera were really good. That camera's been there all winter, so saw a lot of activity over the winter here, even with the snow on, that kind of stuff. Did see a couple coyotes though. Not a ton of bears, of course, towards the winter, which they den up on you. But I haven't had a bear come into this site down here yet, so I'm interested to see now that it's freshened up if that'll start bringing bears in too or not. I had a couple bears come in last year. I passed on one. He was iffy. They're hard to judge when they're coming through. He wasn't playing around either, so I didn't have a whole lot of time to judge him. I let him walk. Probably should have shot him, but that's how it goes. I'd rather, you know, not shoot than rather shoot something too small, and that's kind of my little journey of starting bear hunting. So if you're unsure, they're a black blob. Take some time to judge them, guys, I'm telling you. Because I had a short incident after that, after I passed him up, that I had another bear come in, got ready, everything, camera was on him, thought I was going to shoot this bear. It came in, hung out for 2 minutes, and I realized that bear's not big enough. So a little trick that I do sometimes is maybe spray paint a tree or make a mark on a tree about waist high, chest high, that kind of thing. Give yourself a reference for size. You know, when you see these TV shows that have, they're in Canada, you know, and they're baiting bears, the barrel helps them out a lot. They can judge on the rings of the barrel how tall that bear is. It gives them an idea of size. Here, you can't bait them, okay? So you really don't have that time, well, they're on a bait pile, they're gonna be there forever. Here, you can't do that. You gotta pull all minerals and feed out like 2-3 weeks beforehand. So they're just moseying through. They're not hanging out in one spot just to hang out usually. So something to keep in mind, maybe spray paint a tree, something like that, make a mark, give yourself some kind of idea, then you kind of hope they walk past it, but sometimes you just gotta see enough of them to get an idea. So heading back to the truck, coming down off the mountain, and there's a little pretty sight right there. Open pasture, get down through here and get in the bottom and get back on the road and head back to Hurricane. So we're at the hunt club today, and successful day. Got to hang out, see some of the property, see how things are going, and gives us a lot of hope for this year. So we'll keep coming to you guys here with more tips, more information as we get it. Try to help educate people and also help you guys have a successful season as well. That's kind of our main goal. We want to help hunters, help people who love the sport as much as we do. So try to give you guys as much information as I have and that we have as a group together to make you guys better hunters and maybe give you a tip you hadn't heard before. So we'll see you guys back next time.